America. I'm Russ Stevenson, your host, along with Alex Stevens.
Hello there.
Hey, Alex, you're there. Okay. Hello there. This is 1100 KFNX. Thank you for listening. We are here today to stimulate your mind, to elevate your own creativity. And today's speakers will definitely do that.
Hey, have you ever wondered how to get on radio talk shows all across America without leaving your home or office? That's what we'll be talking about today. If you've ever wondered about this, and even if you haven't, you need to keep listening. You know why, Russ?
Yes, I do, because today we have Joe Sabah, author, speaker, publisher, who has been a guest on over 700 radio talk shows across America. In fact, he wrote the book on it. Joe and I have many mutual friends in the entrepreneurial and professional speaking business. I consider Joe a good friend and mentor. And welcome, Joe. Thanks for being here today.
And Russell, you are number 724 interview for me.
Oh, my goodness. 724. It's a great number. Thank you, sir.
It's an honor.
We're glad to have you, Joe. How's everything going?
The beauty of talk radio is it ain't going away. I was watching the top 20 inventions in the world, and they got down to radio, which is number 3, and they said they interviewed the car makers, will the new cars still be having AM, FM radios? And they all said absolutely.
That's incredible. And have you really been on, or are you just pulling our leg? You're 724?
You're number 724.
Tell us about how you wrote the book, which anyone who can watch the show on the internet, I'm holding it, How to Get on Radio Talk Shows All Across America Without Leaving Your Home or Office. Joe wrote this, and Joe is a pioneer. I just want everyone to know you're not just talking to somebody, you're talking to Joe Sabah. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you, Russ. Well, first of all, 20 years ago, I helped my son get a job right out of high school. I created a form called the Gold Form, G-O-L-D, and he got 3 job offers in 3 days, and I turned that into a book. I says, well, if it'll work from Denver to California, why would it work in the rest of the country? So I wrote a book called How to Get the Job You Really Want and Get Employers to Call You. Ho-hum. I sat on that for quite a long time, and somebody said, well, radios need guests every day. So my first radio interview was kind of like that, Russ.
Oh, like me, you mean? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was mumbling around. At the end of the show, the host said, give out your 800 number, Joe. 303-722-7200. And he said, give it out again, because you never give out a number one time. So I gave it out again, and by the time I got home, my phone was ringing with 12 orders for the book. So I said, wow, if this works here in Denver, what about the rest of the country? So one by one, I started finding radio stations who have talk show formats who interview by telephone. That's the key for me, Russ, is to be able to do it by telephone, because here I am sitting at my desk in beautiful Denver, Colorado, talking to Russ and his partner there in beautiful Arizona.
Right.
Joe, what year was that? What year did all that begin?
I'm going to guess about 20 years ago. And I've kept it up since then, adding 1 to each radio interview. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and so forth. I've sold, I'm estimating, $376,000 worth of jobs books.
I love it. I love this.
At full retail. This is before Amazon, without Barnes & Nobles. I just did it by telephone. And I don't even have an iPhone yet, folks. That's coming next week.
Folks, you have to understand that if you have a book, if you have a product, if you have an invention, Joe has this book along with, I want you to tell them about the disc, the CD that you have. What do you have on the CD, Joe? Because this is very important information.
Well, I have found that talk show hosts need guests. If you don't have a good guest to get the phone ringing, the general manager says, look, Charlie, you have 3 more weeks. Look, Sally, you have 2 more weeks. We're going to get Jim to replace you. So talk show guests are very important. What I've done, I gave a 1-hour talk to a publishing company, and I recorded it, and it's on a CD that I'd be happy to send to anybody so they can get a taste of what power and privilege I have by being able to talk to you two on the radio.
And you also have a CD that lists radio stations that go along with the book.
Oh, yes. Every year I've updated this database, as I call it, of 850 shows, call letters of the station, name of the host, name of the producer, their phone number, their email address. Wow.
Folks, do you realize what it took to put that together? I hope you realize, because it's an astronomical feat. Go ahead, Joe.
And
Russ to keep it updated, because every year there's a lot of changes in hosts and producers. And I'm so privileged to be on the air with you both this afternoon. KFNX, wow, a 50,000-watt station.
That's exactly right. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just going to say, so if you're an author and you really want to get your book out there, this is the way to go, right, Joe?
Amen and a woman.
There you go.
Alex, it's a joy to be here. You just send a copy of the book to the host or the producer, along with about 6 or 8 questions for them to ask you, and ka-ching, ka-ching.
Joe, I'm gonna ask you a question. See if you'll reveal this to us. Maybe you will. We know a lot of people together as friends, and I'll mention some names real quick. And I hate to reminisce like this, folks, but, I don't get a chance to do this on the radio. Gary Halbert, E. Joseph Cosman, Jay Abraham. All these people are what we call big gurus in our business. And Joe is one of them. He was always asked to be on radio shows, to go to seminars, weren't you, Joe? And tell us how you started your seminar. Oh, that's a whole nother story. Your seminar business.
Well, you see, 36 years ago, I was booking Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, selling tickets to fill 1,000 seats here in Denver. And before I was done, I said, is anybody else interested in speaking? So I did a test seminar called How to Speak for Fun and Profit. 20 people showed up, and that's been going on every week for 36 years. That's how I pay my rent.
Oh, my.
That's fantastic.
Aren't you part of the NSA, National Speakers Association also, Joe?
Not only a part, but I was privileged to book Cavett Robert, the founder of NSA, right there in Tempe, Arizona.
Yes. He
wanted to be booked 5 days a week. I says, how old are you, Cavett? He says, I'm only 73. With the advantage I have that you two kids are chuckling about, 2 months ago I reached number 84.
Yes, and I called you on your birthday because you're such a good friend, and I love Joe Sabah.
I'm going all the way to 100.
For sure.
Sounds that way to me.
And you're treating us to such good information. And anyone who has a product, please, this is a great way to get your product out into the marketplace. Joe's done it 724 times. Wow. We got about 2 minutes, Joe, before the first break. I know you talked about NSA. I want you to say a couple things about singing the song you came to sing.
Well, I learned this from Cavett Robert. He says, Joe, the real secret to success in life is simply this. Find the one thing you enjoy doing so much, you gladly do it for nothing. And then he said, you get good enough at it, you actually get paid for it. That's what I mean by ka-ching, ka-ching. People come to my seminars. I give out 433 contacts in the Denver area who need speakers. Wow.
I didn't realize there was that many just in Denver.
Phoenix area be about the same because your metropolitan area is about the same as Denver. So there's Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, Optimist, schools, all need speakers every single week.
Well, this is incredible.
Joe, you have such a wonderful philosophy. You're so grateful for everything. And on your website, you mentioned that having fun is really important.
Have fun, you betcha. Alex, it's a joy to have two of you there. Double my pleasure, isn't it?
Yes.
Joe, before we get into the gold form and appreciation gram, I need you to tell us about telegrams and Twitter. Do you remember that stuff?
Absolutely. See, at my age, I remember delivering telegrams. When I was 15 years old, I got on my bicycle and I delivered those telegrams, which are 10 words, for $3. Think about that. $3 in 1945 was a lot of money. Western Union had the business of delivering telegrams. I was making 28 cents an hour. And then minimum wage came along. I was making 65 cents an hour. Times are changing. And then 3 years ago, Twitter came out. What do you get, 140 characters for free?
Yes.
Western Union quit the telegram business. They're still in business, but now they send money back and forth.
And like you said in your material, Twitter is just a telegram, is it not? It's a vehicle, is it not, Joe?
Except from, instead of just one person to one person, it's a vehicle that you put on Twitter, and everybody that subscribes to your Twitter or whatever gets to read it.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Okay, yeah, you're right.
People claim to have hundreds of thousands or millions of people on there.
It's a telegram to the whole world.
There you go, Alex. That's great. Joe, I still use, believe it or not, I still use the gold form and the appreciation gram. Tell us in depth. I have copies of it right here. Tell us about that. Tell us how you came up with that and how brilliant. This is a brilliant thing, folks.
Here's the secret of life, period. Do something different in a positive way. I was in the employment agency business, and resumes are always on white, buff, or ivory. Is that right?
That's correct.
When my son was graduating from high school, I said, I got to do something different. So I asked him what he wanted to do. He says, I want to be a printer, Printer. So I said, okay, what do you know about printing? And he rattled off some cameras and cutters and so forth. So I created this gold form, as I call it. Available immediately, one qualified, responsible, dependable printer. And I listed his background. At the bottom I said, help solve your printer problems today. Called Joe Sabah, same name as mine. Then I went to the print shop here on Colorado Boulevard in Denver, and I asked the lady behind the counter, what's the brightest color paper you have? I was thinking white buff ivory, but she says goldenrod. Wow. That was a big wow, Alex and Russ, because goldenrod outsells black and white 20 to 1 at least. I sent out 37 copies on a Thursday morning to California. On Tuesday morning, son Joe called and says, guess what, Dad? 3 people called me and want me to go to work for them.
Wow.
Joe, I can believe every word because this thing is the sheer, and I've seen every marketing piece. You know I've seen every marketing piece in the world, Joe. You know that, just like you have. This thing is the most brilliant. Go ahead, Joe.
And if they'd like more information about the entire radio talk show system, they can go to my website, SabahRadioshows.com. Sabah is S-A-B-A-H, radio, shows, plural, SHOWS.com.
Joe, give him your phone number, too.
303-722-7200. That's 303-722-7200.
Call Joe. He's a great guy.
What a privilege to be with you two kids on this beautiful day.
Well,
It's a privilege to be with you, Joe. It truly is.
Let's help some people.
tell our friends about the Appreciation-gram, Joe.
I created a postcard. I called it Appreciation-gram, named after the telegrams I used to deliver, because I just did. So instead of calling it a postcard, I called it Appreciation-gram. So after every interview, for anything, after every sale I make, I send out a postcard called an Appreciation-gram in the mail. Wow. I got to warn you, though, Russ. I remember when postcards used to be a penny. Now they're about 30-some cents, but they're still worth it. See, Appreciation-grams, you don't have an envelope to open. You just turn it over and read it.
Well, you're absolutely right, and this stuff works.
Let me interrupt you. It doesn't work. Guess who does the work?
Who does the work?
You do.
We got about a minute and a half. If we didn't ask you anything, if we missed something, give us the story, Joe. Sing your song. Tell us.
Well, that's what Alex mentioned earlier when she joined us. Something about singing the song you came to sing. If a person is on target with their life, Russ and Alex, they're doing what they love. Years ago, a baseball player named Willie Stargell with the Pittsburgh Pirates was being interviewed. And the reporter said, "Willie, you're 37 years old. How do you keep going?" He said, "We listen to the umpire. After the Star-Spangled Banner's played, what does the umpire say? Play ball."
Play ball. There you go.
We play ball, we don't work ball. So folks who are listening in, quit working, start playing, enjoy what you want. Baseball players, football players, piano players, guitar players.
Joe, thank you very much. We're at the end of this. You're going to come back, I hope, at another time. If you just tuned in, I love you, Joe Sabah. You're great. You're listening to Russ on the radio. We just had a half hour with Joe Sabah. Oh, man, how to get on radio talk shows all across America. Call Joe. He's a great guy, and he will help you get on radio. This half hour, our guest in the studio, Machelle Glassburn, actress and co-inventor of the amazing Himalayan healing salt mats. I think I got that right. And remember, our first caller with a question will receive a free healing salt mat from Machelle. And Alex, do you know the person that's sitting next to me?
I know her, yes. I starred in a movie with her.
Okay, tell us about it.
Michelle.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Wonderful. We were in a movie called Speak No Evil. It was a horror film, and we both were characters in that film.
Wow.
Had fun together, right, Michelle?
Oh, it was. It was a blast.
Beyond that, though, I'm telling you, whoever is out there, the first person to get this mat, you're going to be doing yourself a big, big favor.
Yes, absolutely. People are thrilled when they get to use them, so you definitely want to get yours.
That's for sure. I'm going to send it to you personally. We have them right here in the studio. Machelle, where did you get the idea for Himalayan salt mats? Where did that come from?
It actually started on my birthday a couple of years ago. I was up in Santa Barbara with my friend who's now become my partner, and we were in a salt store that sells all sorts of Himalayan salt products, the salt mats, the salt blocks, and they had these wonderful salt caves that you could go in and relax in and enjoy the energy. And so my friend and I went in, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I got this crazy urge to put my feet in the rock salt that made up the bottom of the cave. And when I did that, I could feel this very interesting pulling effect. And then I got an even crazier urge to lay down in it, which was kind of weird because people walk around in there. But I found a corner and I laid down. And I was under a lot of stress at that time. There were a lot of issues in my life, a lot of anxiety. And as I laid down in this salt, there was this amazing pulling sensation. And all of a sudden I felt very calm and very peaceful. And so I wondered if there was a way to bring that to people so that they could have it in their own homes.
Wow. Sounds like
And in
what
your own
movies are
home,
made
right?
out of.
Right, exactly.
That's,
And I was just curious. Now, the Himalayan salt, is that literally from the Himalayas? Or what's the
Yes,
story
yes.
on that?
No, it's absolutely. That's the only place it's mined. It comes out of Pakistan from the Himalayan mountains. It has been there for about 250 million years, and it's completely free of toxins and impurities. So that's why it's kind of highly sought after.
Considering that the Buddhists in Tibet and all are part of the Himalayas and all that spirituality that has always been there, it's interesting that that's where the salt is as well.
Absolutely, yeah. They've been using it for centuries for healing. So they've got to know something. That's what I think.
I was just wanted to reinforce that this mat is really set up to be used home, car, office, pretty much anywhere. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. When we developed it, that's what we wanted. We wanted people to be able to take it to yoga. It helps with relaxation. We wanted people to be able to take it to their meditation. We definitely wanted people to be able to use it in their car for relaxation, tone down the road rage. We made sure to make it durable and portable and cleanable.
you told me a story. I don't know whether I'm supposed to repeat it. I guess I am. Was it your dog or your cat?
It was the cat who wanted the prototype.
Yeah. Scratching it, we couldn't break through the...
Right. Well, the cat actually didn't scratch. The cat just liked being on it. I had a friend's dog who loved it. So it was the dog that would scratch at it.
And it didn't...
No.
Didn't budge it?
No. It's made out of durable medical grade plastic. So it's hypoallergenic, latex free, and pretty strong.
I was just curious when you said it was hypoallergenic. There are other things about it as well. It's medical grade plastic.
Right.
Tell us more about it.
Well, we have it manufactured here in the United States, which was really important to us. Our manufacturer is in Corona, California, and they actually do medical bed burn units and that kind of thing. And that's why we went to them, because we wanted something that people could use with confidence. We're hoping eventually to get these into nursing homes and convalescent homes and that kind of thing. So it was really important to us to have a product that everybody could be comfortable with.
I think that's a great idea to get them into those areas, assisted living, and nursing home. I think that's what a great idea. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Tell us the first time you tried the mat, not when you were laying in it, but when you tried the mat.
Well, when I tried the mat, my partner and I, we actually went home and created these very crude homemade prototypes. We got pool floats from Walmart for $3, and we cut them apart and we put salt in them and duct taped them back together. And then we laid on them to see if we felt the same effects. And as my son had coined, we noticed the Newtonian effect, which was the pulling, the gravitational. And then the same sense of peace and relaxation for me. Now, for my partner, she's pretty good mentally, but she has a lot of physical issues from her day job. And so she found that it helped with the aches and pains on her back and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's incredible. Folks at KFNX, you know that this is an author, inventor, speaker, and marketer show, bringing all these new ideas to you. And that's why we love inventors. Well, we love actresses too. Don't get me wrong. Creators in any way, shape, or form. Tell us how we can get a hold of you. How can we get a hold of you?
You can reach us at our website, which is M for Michelle and K, and it's the ampersand sign. K is for Karen. Healing Salts, and that's SALTS.com. And that's got our webmail and our phone numbers on there. You can also reach me at 602-762-0205.
That's great. You can also, if you're driving or something like that, russontherradio@gmail.com. I'll send you information also about Michelle and M&K Healing Salts. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about pets and children. Is this good for pets and children as well?
Yes, we believe so. Now, we haven't actually had any children try it, but we have had several pets. Like I said, my cat, she was one of the first ones on the prototype. She kind of parked herself on there. My partner's cat, she has an arthritic hip. One of the first small ones we made, we couldn't get her off of it. As I said, my former roommate's dog, she was definitely drawn to it. One of my sister's friends bought it for a dog of hers who was very excitable. She put it under the dog's bed, didn't tell the dog, obviously, and the dog gravitated to it naturally. And we believe that it will actually help with children to keep them calm, just based on the other things that people have told us.
Very interesting. Have you had anybody who has any sort of serious illness or like Parkinson's or anything like that? Have you had anybody use it that can tell us, give us a testimonial about that?
No, and I wish I did. I would love to see if it helps those people. I believe in my heart it will, but I don't have any anecdotal evidence. But I have had people that have had migraines for like 4 days, and it has taken the migraine away. I've had people that use them when they very first start getting a migraine, and within 15 minutes, they say the migraine's gone. Back problems, like I said, my business partner and some other people that used it. A professional dancer, she would come home and use it after her rehearsal, and she would say it would take all the pain out of her knees and her ankles. We also had a pregnant woman that was using it where it actually relieved her heartburn.
Wow.
Oh,
That's wonderful. I mean, it definitely looks like something that's worth trying. If you're in some sort of pain, chronic pain, anything that's going on, it's worth a try.
Oh, I think so. I always tell people I can't make any guarantees because it works with your own energetic field. And so it's very definitely an individualized experience. But so far, the more people that have used it, the more amazing stories we get to hear.
Now, a lot of people don't know what energetic field means. Why don't you fill them in a little bit?
Well, quantum physicists have actually been starting to discover that the physical atoms are made up of vortices of energy. So we're all energy. Everything is energy. Matter is energy. And so we're all projecting this energetic field, kind of like Star Wars. They kind of had it right in the Force. It runs through everything and everybody. So crystals, being one of the most perfectly balanced energetic forms, they tend to put out a vibration that interacts with us and our energetic vibrations. Somebody said it best where they said the cells in the human body also vibrate at certain frequencies, and the crystals vibrate at their frequencies. And so when we come into contact with a crystal, its vibration interacts with the vibration of the cells in our bodies.
Well, I wonder if it's almost like a tuning fork effect where the gentle, positive energy of the Himalayan salt tunes our own bodily vibration.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that's a perfect way to put it.
Someone in Sedona, because that's a place where all this takes place, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of this healing and energy. And so if you're from Sedona, call us, will you?
Absolutely.
We have about a minute and a half. So, I'd be the one to spill coffee on it. How can I clean it?
You can wipe it down. Being the medical grade plastic, you just need to wipe it down with a damp cloth.
Really?
Yes. That was one of the reasons we wanted it to be this way. Because like I said, we hope to get it into spas and massage therapy clinics and those kind of places as well. So we wanted it to, like I said, be durable and to be easy to clean, to be portable.
And it also has Velcro edges that allow you to create any size you want. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Since we kind of had to start with one product, we kind of wanted to do a one-size-fits-all. And a lot of people had said to us they wanted it for their desk chairs. They wanted it for their cars. So we came up with a size that would fit that. But yet we wanted people who wanted a full-length mat to be able to create the size they wanted. So that's why we put the Velcro on it to make it modular.
What a great idea. We only have a couple seconds, and then we're going to go to a little break. And there it is. If you just tuned in, you're listening to Russ on the Radio. I'm Russ Stevenson, your host, along with Alex Stevens, who's somewhere out there in Never Never Land.
I'm here.
On 1100 KFNX. Our guest during this half hour, Machelle Glassburn, actress and co-inventor Himalayan salt mats. Welcome back, Machelle.
Thank you, Russ. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. Give us your contact information, please.
Our website is MK Healing Salts, and that's SALTS.com. And you can reach me at 602-762-0205.
Thank you. Alex?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about the construction because it is really a special piece. It contains 49 chambers, correct?
Correct, yes. It's actually right now being pretty much handmade. Like I said, here in the United States, that was important to us. We wanted it made in America.
Fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. We felt very strongly about that. We've been told, if we send it overseas, we could get it cheaper, but we want to support the American economy. We think that's important.
I'm honored to have you on the show because I love your positive energy and I love your mindset.
Oh, thank you, Alex. I'm so happy to be here as well.
You're welcome. Hey, tell us a little bit about Himalayan salt's unique cellular structure. It's got a lot of positive and woo-woo-woo, woo-woo-woo kind of stuff, but there's also some science behind it.
And it's true, it does. A lot of people do think it's woo-woo, but basically what it is, the salt is a crystal, just like any other crystal, just like amethyst, citrine, any of the ones that you find that people have been using for healing. And so what it is crystals are the most orderly structure in nature. What that does is that allows them to emit the specific vibrations. And so it balances the energy. When it comes into dissonant energy, when it comes in contact, it allows it to balance and transform into a harmonic energy. And the thing with the Himalayan salt, like I said, it's just like any other kind of crystal. So what we found is the nervous system is attuned to the shifts in the energy that the salt transmits. And so it transmits it to the brain. And there the frequencies stimulate the biochemical shifts that affect our physical body and also our mental and spiritual selves.
Absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
Did it have something to do with negative ions?
That's what they say, yes. That's where you find the salt lamps. You'll see those in a lot of stores now. They're becoming very popular, and they're just really a giant crystal of Himalayan salt. And when you heat those up, they actually emit negative ions, and people have been using those for years and years for respiratory distress.
And we know they're good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact, yes.
That's what you did at the ocean as well, isn't it? The
Yes.
negative ions, and that's why you feel so elevated when you're there.
That's
Exactly.
right, Alex. Yeah, good point.
So I was looking at your website, and there's a piece in it that talks about that it removes toxins from the body. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, and that's actually more of an ingestion. People have been doing that because this is an actually complete mineral. It has all 84 minerals that your body needs, which is why people have been ingesting it for a long time. As far as the energetic thing of the mats, we believe, and like I said, again, we don't have any hard science because hard science will poo-poo us, but we have anecdotal evidence that goes back centuries that we believe that the negative ion effect, that the energetic pull of the salt allows it to remove the negative toxins and ions in your body. And if you are of a spiritual bent, your aura field and your energetic field as well.
But this is a topical product, so we don't want to say we don't want to break this open and eat it.
No, you could. It is food grade salt, but I'd prefer you didn't. It probably would work better if you kept it intact.
I think that's a good idea.
Machelle, our show is also about sort of extracting information from guests as well to help our listeners. Can you give us some advice for people who are working on their own inventions or are in the development stages? What advice can you give them?
Well, I would say the first thing is don't let anybody throw you off track. If we had really gone to the experts, probably told us we were crazy. And in fact, our first contact at the manufacturing plant, he didn't think we could do this. The manufacturing place is wonderful. They're a family-owned business. And we were dealing with the son, who is great, and he has his own line of products. But he was out of town, fortunately for me, as things seem to, fall into your lap sometimes. And I got to speak with his dad. And his dad was like, well, I don't know if we can do this or not, but let's see. And so they actually started doing a lot of research and development for us for free, which is another reason why we feel very strongly about staying with them. But I just kind of reached out to people, and I found that if you ask a question, if somebody doesn't know the answer, a lot of times they'll know somebody who might. Through contacts here, mutual friends that you and I know, they had contacts that put me into contact with other people, and the snowball kind of rolls. I just would say ask questions, reach out to as many people as you can, and just keep after it.
Okay, this is a hard question. You're an actress and an inventor.
Yes.
Which do you like better? Oh, man.
I would say that is a tough question. Acting is a passion. I wanted to do that ever since I was 13, but I love my product. I feel very strongly about it, and I believe in it. I don't think I can answer.
You're doing both, just like Alex. Alex is an author. She's a speaker. She's an actress. She's a radio talk show host. And just like you, and you're both friends, and you're both tearing this place up.
Well, I actually also happen to be a certified hypnotherapist. So.
Oh, we missed that. Oh,
right.
Really?
It's interesting to use this with my clients. They say that it helps them relax deeper, and a lot of times they feel like they have more vivid visualizations.
Wow.
Now, I love that because that was the question I was going to ask is how awesome would it be to have a hypnotherapy session laying on this beautiful mat that you've created?
It is awesome. And I also have friends that are massage therapists that are using them with their clients, and they love them. And what's really interesting about this product is, like I said, it does definitely tune to your own individual energy. Most people that use it tell me it feels warm to them. But I've had a couple of clients that have used it, and they say it's actually cool, that it actually feels cool to them. Yeah, so it is very fascinating.
Sure, it depends on the person.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wherever they're at, which is, very interesting to me. Now, if somebody wanted to see a mat before purchasing it, or do you go to trade shows or conventions, or is it just via the website?
We are getting out into not so much trade shows, but we do find ourselves at the spiritual fairs and those kind of things, the things that you can find in Sedona, the holistic healing fairs. But, if somebody contacts us on the website and we can get together and find a way to show you the product, we're more than happy to do that.
We got about 30 seconds, and see how fast this goes? Go ahead. Let's see if we can wrap it up in 30 seconds or thereabouts.
Do you have future plans to be in stores, in New Age stores?
Oh, absolutely. We have future plans to be everywhere.
Well, it was less than 30 seconds.
Well, that sounds good, Machelle. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Machelle. This is Russ on the radio. You're listening to Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Today, we were inspired and amazed by Joe Sabah telling us all how to become guests on radio talk shows across America without leaving our home or office. We also learned a great deal from Machelle, who's sitting next to me, Glassburn, about her new product, Himalayan salt mats.